The Justice Department says acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker will not testify before a House panel tomorrow unless he is guaranteed that he will not face a subpoena. The House Judiciary Committee voted today to authorize a subpoena ahead of Whitaker's testimony tomorrow. We have CNN Justice reporter Laura Jarrett with more on this breaking news. Why is the Justice Department drawing this line in the sand?
Well, Brianna, the Justice Department really views this as a breach of the agreement that they had with Whitaker to voluntarily testify tomorrow morning. And in their view, they've gone around that process, the Democrats have, by issuing a subpoena preemptively before any questions have been asked. Now, of course, the Democrats are very focused on Whitaker's communications with the president, his questions that he may have exchanged with the president and the White House about the special counsel's Russia investigation, as well as his ethics recusal. And on all of these issues, the Justice Department has a point-by-point letter, Jess, I got my hands on, and I just want to read to you one of the things that they say that Whitaker would be willing to testify here, because it's something that Democrats have really harped on, Brianna. They say the acting Attorney General will testify that at no time did the White House ask for or did the acting Attorney General provide any promises or commitments concerning the special counsel's investigation. But they go on to say, Brianna, we do not believe, however, that the committee may legitimately expect the acting Attorney General to discuss his communications with the president. And that's the whole fight here, because Jerry Nadler, the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, had said, tell me ahead of time if the Trump administration plans to invoke executive privilege to have Whitaker avoid those questions. The Justice Department saying, we can't tell you ahead of time. That just usurps the whole process. And so they are in this escalating battle, this standoff now, with Whitaker saying, unless I get an assurance by 6 p.m. Eastern tonight that you don't plan to use that subpoena that's in your back pocket, Jerry Nadler, I am not showing up to the hearing tomorrow morning, Brianna.
Because what would a subpoena do, Laura, to any assertions of executive privilege?
Well, it was an interesting move by Nadler to proactively have the authorization ready to go. They had a vote on it today so that if, in fact, during the hearing, Whitaker said, I'm not answering that, Nadler could presumably show the subpoena and say, you have to answer it. And if then Whitaker still refused to answer it, the House, I should say, rather, could try to vote to hold him in contempt. Now, that would be a lengthy process. They would have to go to court to enforce it. So there would be a back and forth here that would take quite a while, and it would obviously be quite a spectacle. And some might say, what would be the point, considering that the Attorney General, who is supposed to be the permanent pick from the President, Bill Barr, is expected to get confirmed next week. So we'll have to wait and see how all of that would actually play out. But that would be the risk here, is that they could try to hold him in contempt, having that subpoena in their hand at the hearing.
All right, Laura Jarrett from the Justice Department, thank you. Let's bring in Chief Political Analyst Gloria Borger to talk more about this. What do you make of this move? Is this an admission in a way of the Justice Department that we would have seen a lot of executive privilege claims?
Well, it is. And I think what they're trying to say here is that they don't want to establish this precedent for other people in the administration, where somebody could have a pocket subpoena, a preemptive subpoena, sitting there on the table, forcing other members of the administration to testify on things they don't want to testify on. And I think that, you know, what they're saying is, we're not going to do this. If I had to bet, he wouldn't show up. It's not going to happen. And, you know, as Laura was saying, you know, if he's held in contempt of Congress, what does it matter? He's gone. He's leaving. But I do believe that this may sort of set some kind of, they want to send a signal to Democrats and say, you know, you really cannot do this.
Because they are expecting there to be a number of hearings, a lot of oversight where they would pull folks in from the administration. And what's the point of doing this when you have Barr coming in as the, presumably, as the Attorney General?
From the Democrats' point of view?
Yeah, what's the point?
I think the Democrats want answers to questions about the communications that Whitaker, who, as you know, was on CNN calling this, you know, the Russia investigation a witch hunt, right? That they want to know what communications Whitaker had with the president, either before he took this job and after he took this job.
Do they want to know assurances that he's given the president, or whether he's given him information about what's going on with the Mueller probe?
Yeah, they want to know. They want to know how much he's told the president, if anything. They also want to to know why he wasn't recused from this in the beginning, since he made it so very clear that he did not believe the Russia investigation was a valid investigation. So I think, in a way, what the Democrats are doing is trying to kind of flex their muscle. It is a little bit of theater here to say, okay, we're going to preemptively subpoena you, so just get ready when you testify before us. So the Democrats are saying, you know, there's a new sheriff in town and we can do this. And what the Justice Department, what Whitaker is saying and presumably the administration is saying is, you can't. No, you can't do this to us because we're not going to show up. I dare you to hold me in contempt. And we may see this play out multiple times now that the Democrats are in charge and the White House and the administration is saying not so fast. We're going to try and figure out ways to avoid this.
All right, Gloria Borger, thank you.
Sure.
Just moments ago, the Senate Judiciary Committee gave a yes vote to William Barr, set to become the next Attorney General of the United States. CNN's Manu Raju on Capitol Hill following this. So the Russia investigation, Manu, is hanging over this entire process. Talk about the vote and also tell us what's coming next after this.
Yeah, 12-10 on party lines, straight party line vote. The Senate Judiciary Committee approving the nomination of Bill Barr to be the next Attorney General, setting up a floor fight and before the entire Senate probably next week when he will get confirmed, almost certainly, given Republican support for this nomination. Now, this the fight over Bill Barr stemmed over how he would handle the Mueller investigation once he assumes this job, assuming he gets confirmed. Will he allow it to proceed? Will he allow that final report to come out publicly? He has not said so categorically. He said he would follow Justice Department guidelines, but Democrats wanted to hear more. And they wanted to hear that he would not interfere with the investigation whatsoever. One thing he did say, Brianna, is he said he would not allow the White House to assert executive privilege to hide wrongdoing in the Mueller report. And I asked one Democratic Senator, Dick Blumenthal, whether that is enough to reassure him. He said it was not.
I find no reassurance in renouncing executive privilege, because that's only one of the excuses that could be given to forestall transparency. And the American people deserve to know not just whether the laws have been broken, but whether wrongdoing has occurred that may not be criminally charged. William Barr is likely to take the position there can be no indictment of a sitting president. If there is no indictment and there's no report, there's a cover-up.
Now, this comes as a new CNN poll today shows that there's significant public support on both sides of the aisle to release that report. A staggering number of 87% of the public wants a public report, including 80% of Republicans. That's up 8% from May. And Brianna, as you know, there are very few things that get Democrats and Republicans united. This certainly does, issuing this report publicly, which is why some Republicans say there's nothing to worry about with Bill Barr because there's going to be so much pressure for him to release the report. We'll see what he ultimately does, assuming he gets the job. Brianna?
Yeah, those are some numbers there. Manu Raju on the Hill, thanks.